Daddy Mac. Dang's 30 years got our way, trading life and markets every day. Rusty's chained to the mines, digging deep day by day. But when Option Omega releases new features, he's free to come out and play. Option Omega, you're trading home, where every move makes you feel less alone.
I heard a dog barking in the background, adding to the blues. Hear it?
It showed up to my house, and so I thought it was muted. Apparently, it was not. Sorry about that.
Speaking of weird days, we something was happening with our streaming software, so I think more people are just now able to join us. Sorry if you normally see the link in YouTube, it didn't show up this morning. So, but here we are, and just the few of us will hang out together. With us is a very special guest outside the mines is Mr. Rusty Mormon. As always, Mr. Dan Sheridan. How are you guys doing this morning?
Doing good. Yeah, good. Good to be here. Good to have Rusty here.
Yeah.
And
It's
Thursday
fun to be on midweek.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we on this Wednesday, market's been pretty contained, if you want to call it July or summer doldrums, which for range-bound people is music to the ears. And I mean, it looks like VIX is going to open around 16 today, which is, again, that lower level where you feel comfortable with the constitution of your mixed month spreads, because 16, if I'm gonna sink in the ship, I'll sink at 16 and lower. I'm not going to sink at 22 going down to 16. But we'll see. Maybe this wakes up. I mean, I talked to a few people who are putting on that ancient trade called a reverse iron condor for Friday. They're saying, hey, there's some catalyst tonight, Google and Tesla. Maybe that could stir the pot a little bit. And then next week you have a lot of things on the table. So maybe this could be called the what's the call? We're bringing back the Ricks. The
right.
Ricks are have Matt and Rusty and Troy. Have you put the Ricks away for the season, or are you slowly bringing them out of the casket? What are you doing with those things?
I have paused not only the Ricks, but pretty much all my 0-day trades. Debit, credit, everything. So
except for now the DCs are not paused.
Well, they are not 0-day. So
that's right. Those are 2 days.
The DC's full bore and all the other trades that go along with them. But I'm not saying I'll do it forever, but for the time being, I realize like everyone has their style. Like some people are tranche traders, some people are trend traders. I'm a DC trader. I want to trade DCs all day, every day, various expiries and strikes.
Sure.
And so that's what I've done. What about you guys?
Yeah.
Well, Matt's not been able to do much because his arm got glued into a concrete wall.
Yeah, look at it.
So weird. What is going on?
Move. It didn't look like that, didn't it?
Yeah, the background is not doing well this morning for Matt. The green screen.
Lost his left arm for this.
I'm on a mobile rig this morning, and the background just popped up, so I just decided to roll with it. So I think I can. There we go. My arm looks better now.
Wow. You're looking.
Matt is in
like
my
art
family
studio.
room.
He's alive.
So yeah, I'm in an art studio. So the my Rick. So I've had different. So the Rick is interesting. I've had different Ricks that enter, but all typically in the morning and early. And then I've had long strangles that I've put on later in the day. And I am kind of going back and revisiting some entry criteria. And I'm actually working on a video which should be out by next weekend, that has some ideas on Ricks, because there's a couple things in the Backtester that I have never seen people use for Ricks that make a lot of sense. And so that's all I'll say at the moment. But I'm kind of back workshopping.
More 0 day or 2 day or
So,
what different duration? 0 day.
0 day. 0 day. Yep. Yep. So that's all I'll say about that today.
I'm working on actually last night, late into the night, working on. I had an idea for a longer dated Rick, but without the put side. Therefore, it's not a Rick at all. But basically, looking at a butterfly and trying to replicate the upside you could get with a Rick, but with a butterfly, so less capital.
Just a balanced fly for the upside?
Unbalanced to the upside.
Unbalanced. So if it and that's the thing with a balanced butterfly to the upside, they're cheap. It's probably the best yield directional play you can do. But if it you got to hit a bullseye. If it overshoots it, that's why I think if you're broken wing it.
I'm trying to do broken wing on the far side.
Oh, you're doing the credit thing.
Well, no, I'm not. This one's not the credit. I'm actually trying to pay a little bit more debit so that if it overshoots it, you still get a good profit.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, that. And I think it's worth overpaying or paying a little bit more, because in these days you can overshoot it. If it, the problem with a balanced butterfly for a directional shot, it could go your way, it could go, it could go up, but if it goes too far, you're goosed, right? You lose it. So it's I think opening up the wing like you talked about makes good sense.
Well, go ahead, Rusty.
I was gonna say the only other thing about all of these, like we could kind of chop up individual trades, but there's kind of like a larger point that I'm thinking. So if I know that I like to, someone asked what DCs, that is double calendars. If you know you like to do, some people call them time spreads, whatever. Some people call them horizontal spreads. The point being, what I realized is that all these trades, I had flies, I had Ricks, I had opening range breakout flies, is that they all actually increased my drawdown significantly in my portfolio when added, which was counterintuitive to me. And so I kept digging into it. But what I would like to do is I'll trade 0 day if it reduces the drawdowns on my portfolio. I don't want ones that are highly correlated to what I already have on.
Good
and
point.
So that's kind of what I'm thinking. Like I want to add 0 day stuff, but I want to add stuff that plays well with the rest and has a low correlation coefficient and really is a clean mix. Or if just an easy dumb way to say it, if you're not into all that, is if I shove it into the port, does it reduce my drawdown or increase it? Right. That's a simple.
Does this test contribute to my cheddar factory?
Yes.
Or does it take away from my cheddar factory?
And don't.
Well, and the point you're, I think, making is that just because you have a different trade type, that doesn't mean it's uncorrelated.
Right.
That it may be, in fact, better just to size up what you're already doing instead of putting, say you have half of one and half of another. That might be a higher drawdown than just sizing up one. Is what you're.
Well, let me ask.
To make a very simple
Dan and I showed a test yesterday that you might consider putting in your portfolio. We're doing, guys. I've missed. We've been all traveling. I'm going to be out Thursday, Friday. We're going no OO show Thursday, Friday. Going to go down to the Everglades, Lord willing, or there will be an OO show, but that's a separate conversation. Dan and I have been looking at trades that how to make your backtest terrible, or basically how to not trust backtests. Basically, bad backtest week. This is bad backtest week.
Yeah.
And you care if I show you a test that you might consider putting in your portfolio?
Please do.
That the cheddar factory might help this one.
The cheddar.
Sounds exciting.
May I introduce you?
This is great. This is great.
To the 5 wide Ironfly. And guys, this is a simple trade. I don't like to overcomplicate things. I just think I keep my things simple. And what this is a 5 wide Ironfly that you put on 30 days out at the money, and you open it at first thing in the morning. That's it, and you take 5% profit target. And here's the thing: I've made this test realistic because I've got 2 hits at profit target. I've got 2 hits at profit target, guys. Oh,
I hate this so much.
so tell me,
First time I've ever said that on the show.
tell me why this is a terrible trade.
You need fees and slippage. A lot.
Okay,
A
A
bunch
lot.
of slippage.
I'm going to add fees and slippage, but tell the folks why we need fees and slippage.
Well, fees because
Well, the
it's
fees is common
reality.
sense.
Because unless you've found a broker who gives you commission-free trades and also doesn't pays the fees to SIBO for you.
Yeah.
Are you saying I'm not
And
living in a
FINRA?
reality?
That's it.
Right. I don't
I
know
love
what
when
happens.
you-
Screen.
Yeah.
I tell you what, you guys talk amongst yourselves. You give me just 1 second. You say I'm not living in a reality.
Yeah, Troy,
There
I
you
hate
go.
to tell you this, but you're a delusional fella. Where you go? Where's he going? He's on my back deck.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Russ, I think you
I'm in my
spoiled it,
office.
Rusty.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
He may appear next to one of you soon.
Rusty, stop talking.
Oh,
You're spoiling
I
this.
thought.
This
This
is
is what-
marketing.
Oh, I'm not good. That's why I'm not good at marketing.
You're
There he
spoiled.
is.
Oh,
I'm being scolded by Troy. Listen, everything Troy does is right. He's never made a mistake. He's the most handsome of us.
Yeah.
Is that enough, Troy? Is that good?
We have a guest visitor on the
That's
OO
right.
show.
Ladies and
Here he
gentlemen.
is.
Oh, here
Look,
he is.
it's Troy again. I'm not living in
Now,
reality.
if he could appear next to me, that's truly a magician.
That would be a
That would
trick.
truly be a magician. Yeah.
That would be a trick. So this back test, the whole setup of it. I mean, the first thing is sometimes people share a back test without having a clue as to what they're sharing.
Right.
And like that may sound harsh, but think about what you're doing for a minute. Take a step away from the fact that this is a back test and think about what you're doing. The market is 6,300 points. A 10 wide, right? Is this 5? Is this 5 wide on each
Yeah,
side?
5
right?
wide.
So you're talking about if you were to graph out 6,300, how wide would a 10th be? Or a 10 wide? Much, much, much tinier than my fingernail, probably, right? So you're trying to find a needle in a haystack full of needles. That's what this is doing. So this needs like an obscene amount of slippage on exit because of the way the exit slippage works, which is a good intuitive way. It also needs some entry slippage. It also does need cap profits as well. But even just the concept of this back test is, again, think about what you're doing. You're 30 days out and your window is 10 wide.
5 wide.
What?
Oh, you mean
Like
10 wide?
5 wide? Yeah, I mean, like this is like what are we doing? Like there's just it's just not a thoughtful.
Well, this is
setup.
why
Like-
I call it the perfect trade.
Yeah.
Because when
So
thinking about a
terrible.
bad back test, this is actually the king in my mind. Because there's actually you can take a bad back test, and there's bad back tests where it's like, okay, you need 2 hits at profit target. There's bad back tests where it's like you didn't add enough slippage. This back test actually has so much wrong with it that it can be dangerous. And that's why I like to show it, because I'm a dangerous guy, as everybody knows that.
Yeah. 5% profit target, what? And 5 cents exit slippage. It it needs way more than 5
And
cents.
you need to go in,
exit
if you go in the
slippage.
trade log, sometimes it's good just for
Yeah.
reality. Go into the trade log, go through a couple trades. You're talking a margin of about $500 here, 5 wide, 5% of $500. You're looking for $25. So now you bring in what Rusty and Matt were talking about, execution.
Yeah.
I mean, this thing is not a sham, but it's a from a reality. And I think when you walk through the trade, what are you doing? It's like making 10% profit on a $300, $400, $500 trade. It's like, there's no room for execution problems.
Yeah.
There's no room for, I just want to say one, I don't want to go on a rant on the whole, I've always, before these brokerage firms came out with a couple of years ago, free commissions, right? Once they came out with like Thinkorswim, do you remember a couple of years ago, free commissions? They started this stuff a little bit, free commissions. Our rates were much cheaper before free commissions, right? Because it just, I don't mean to be, they're not being honest, but they're not being honest. It's saying it's the fee, right? It's the fee. It's like, we're going to charge you no commissions, but our fees are going through the roof, right? And it's all, and I think for newer traders, sometimes they have a hard time figuring out. Obviously, when you trade SPX, it's going to be, because the CBOE, if I have this correctly, license out they get a license from the SP, whatever the company is, S&P. So they're paying $1.25, right? But the other thing to remember, so I think the you're paying that fee, and I think for newer people it's hard to figure out that thing. But the other thing is, I just want to throw this out there. People think, well, you talk to the brokerage firm, if you're ever negotiating rates, which you can, right? You think, well, they don't have any room. They said, commissions are only that, they don't have any room. I just want to say this, it's like Moneyball. They kept saying, look at the data. I say, look at the payment for order flow, right? These guys are doing well, right? I remember we had before the free commissions, we had guys that were getting 50 cents a contract in SPX with all fees, right? And then they talked to the broker, and the broker, we're this is a lost leader because you're such a good guy. And the problem is they're getting $1.25, $1.30, whatever it is for payment for order flow. So anyways, I didn't mean to digress from this, but just to throw, because you can negotiate, and negotiating is just strictly based on, I think, the size of your account and the fact that maybe you've done your homework, and it's nice to have, hey, I talked to this other brokerage firm, blah, blah, blah. But anyways, different.
Rob makes a great point. Rob says, when I make over 100 million on a trade, I prefer the max drawdown to be under 2%, and I prefer to make it in under 6 months. I also love trades that require over 1 million contracts per entry. I love this trade.
Perfect.
Well,
listen,
this
guys,
trade,
that's sarcasm. Just for anybody who is not picking up, that is sarcasm. Warning.
subject
alert.
of this week's test, bad back test. So let's break this down a little further. Another had quite the discussion in the OO show discussion room in Discord about the thing we spoke to yesterday, which is to say, notice that some of these contracts, you go basically one lot, 4 zillion, seemingly. What? And the question is why? Well, Rusty, would you
Great
like
question,
to take that
Troy.
one?
Is it good? Is that how these
Thanks,
things work?
Rusty.
Okay.
Thanks,
I'm
Rusty.
so glad you asked, Troy. Isn't that how they do?
Yeah. Great point, Troy.
You're so smart. So if you look, the key is to look at the margin required field or parameter or not parameter, but field there. You see that column, right? Fourth from the right, I think, on Troy's screen. So you notice it says not applicable or not available in A, which simply meant this. The platform could not figure out the margin required. Why could it not figure out the margin required? Because what's the margin requirement on a 5 wide credit spread that you're getting $5 for because you don't have enough slippage? What's the margin required? Can anyone tell me? Is it 0? Is the broker going to let you, are you going to get filled for $5 on a 5 wide credit spread? Never, never, ever.
Paper trade.
Yeah, excellent point. But like in real life, no one's going to take the other side of that. It's unlimited risk with no reward for them, and the same for you. Unlimited reward, but it's just silly. And so the point is it's unrealistic. And so the backtester's like, I don't even know how to calculate this. This is not we're clearly not in the real world now. And so what happens is that if you scroll back to the left, Troy, whenever the backtester's like, what the heck is happening? It falls back to doing a one lot. It'll just do a one lot, which is why you have a one lot. Now, on the other hand, the July 1st trade, what's the margin requirement when you're getting $4.90 on a 5 wide? It's 10 cents. 10 cents. So at that point, when you have $1 billion or trillion or whatever you got, guess what? You can put on a lot of things with 10 cents margin. So the point being, that's why it alternates between our national debt's worth of contracts of trades versus a one lot. That's why. So the trade's broken, right? It needs to be like 35 cents slippage or 25 cents, and then so if you run it like last 90 days, or you could even run it with this time period, but just to make it fast, increase the slippage to 25 cents entry and exit both.
Well, also the profit target. I mean, the 5 cent profit target.
But here's my point. I wanted to show this. Scroll down. Yeah, now you have a negative. Everything's negative. But now look at that. There's not any NAs. Why? Because I don't know. For 490, it goofs still. Who knows why? But most of the other trades, you're now getting 30 cents on. So it's like you have 30 cent margin, 20 cent margin, that kind of thing. And so it can figure it out. But you're still losing money quite often. So yeah, it's a terrible trade.
And here's the thing that Rob, correct me up. That's a good one. The thing about these trades, we talked about this yesterday, and I want to really hit this home because I noticed this yesterday, people discussing this. People started looking at, is this a bug? Like, this is so bad that there's a bug in this. And what I wanted to talk about was something that we talked a little bit about yesterday. But first off, I want to see if Rusty remembers this. Rusty, our neutral developer friend that we worked with for a long time. Do you remember when I talked about the Ludic fallacy?
Ooh, the Ludic again.
And he cussed me. Cussed me out.
I don't remember this conversation. I remember you getting cussed out a lot, but usually it's it's usually
we did
for
get
you
a cussed out a
people,
lot.
whatever you would do.
Well,
Yeah,
stop deserving it. But so the Ludic fallacy is this. Just to recap yesterday, because this actually solves it from what we're trying to show this. You have this data set where it's like there's some things that don't make sense, but you just win, right? Like you should not win on a 5 wide, but you just win, right? But you're only winning on paper, and you're winning in a way where sometimes you trade one contract, and then the next trade you trade 4 zillion contracts. So there's something called the Ludic fallacy, and the Ludic fallacy is this. You flip a coin, and every time you flip a coin, what are the probabilities of it being heads and tails, guys?
50-50.
50%. Now, here's the thing. We did this yesterday. We're going to do it again. If we flip it 3 times in a row, and all 3 times it's tails, on the 4th time, what are the probabilities that it's going to be heads or tails?
50-50.
50-50. Okay. So here's the thing. You make a bet with someone, and you say, someone has flipped a coin 99 times, and for 99 straight times, it's been tails. And they say, I'm going to flip it one more time. What would you like to bet that it's going to be tails? Does the previous 99 influence you at all?
Yes.
That's what I was going to say. Is you need a new, like, are we?
You've stolen Two Faces
that
coin
point
or something, right?
That's right.
Right.
It's unknown. It's unknown at this point what is going on with the coin.
I think it influences. Okay. Yeah, at some point you have to say that something's rigged because the odds of that happening without something being biased or rigged, you should start scratching your head a little bit.
Infinitesimal. Yeah.
And this is the Ludic fallacy. Is shout out Rob, I love you, Rob. The person who looks at a coin that's flipped 99 times tails and says 50-50, I'm going to size accordingly, falls under the category of the Ludic fallacy. And the Ludic fallacy basically says when something's happening that should not theoretically be happening probability wise for a data set, you have to account or plan or envision that there's an unknown data set that you don't have access to. And therefore you have to change your probability. Unknown variable. So you have to change your probability. I say that to say this is actually a really helpful way to look at backtesting. You look at this trade, and you could reverse this Ludic-wise. You could say like, well, it just wins. But this is the point. If you look at a data set that makes no sense on first glance, but it just wins, I don't trust that data set, right? As a general premise, because I assume there's something happening in this that's different from real life. Like in this instance, the backtester is not real life. We have a lot of confidence in our backtesting. We believe you can set up really realistic backtests, and we've seen this. This is an instance where you see a backtest and someone says, hey, I'm going to start trading this. I'm going to own America in 3 months. And you look at it and you say, clearly there is a data set between the reality data set and the backtesting data set that is not connecting, right? And someone says, well, I don't know. And so saying that to say, you always have to look and basically say, like, with data, there's always more data. Like when you have a data set, there's always other data. And sometimes that data is emotional. Sometimes that data is all sorts of things. And like, otherwise we'd all be trading like just the same thing because we'd find the highest probability thing and that works out in betting size. And we would just trade that. Right. But we don't. Why? Because we all have different data sets ourselves. We have emotional data sets. We have all sorts of things. And so you have to be able to look at odds, but you also have to be able to look at different data sets and say, is there something tricky going on with this that I don't see yet? And what should your default be when that is the case?
Yeah.
Does that make sense, guys? Any thoughts about that?
I mean, I like that conceptually. I think there's also just like backtesting and automation has changed the game for folks. I also think it's important to have a concept of what you're doing. And so like a lot of times what I try to do is just repeat out loud and check, okay, in the example of this backtest, it's a 6,000 point vehicle. Just trading a 10 wide position 30 days out, does that match reality at all? No. Not to get something robust, it does not. To get something lottery, whatever. To get something robust that you actually have a thesis on and try to refine that thesis and whatever. And we could go down the road of like trying to fix this backtest and make it more realistic. But it's the idea on its face is just so insane that it's like this is divorced. It's divorced from reality. Forget slippage for a minute. Forget the Punisher. It's a 10 wide on a 6,000 point vehicle. What are we doing here? You know, that's how I think.
Can I take it a little bit? I hope this is in the same topic of discussion. I was just looking at the market here since June 23rd. We've had, which is 1 month from today backwards, we've had 22 days. If you were a pitcher in National League Baseball, you'd be 18-4. 18 green days where we've been up, 4 losers, right? Yeah. And just looking at the futures, we've gone from 60-77 to 63-69, almost 300 points. Now, I look at that from a probability, and I don't know what I mean. I have, I just look at that and say, you know what? It seems like we're going up, grinding at times. But you know what? If I'm going to set trades on, 18 up days or 4 down, 300 points up, I want more room to the downside, right? Not only long Vega, but I want, whether it be calendars under the market or leaning the double calendars, or, it doesn't mean that we still can't go up. But at this point, I can't drink the Kool-Aid, right? I just can't drink unless it's good Kool-Aid. I mean, I used to drink a lot. I don't know if you guys drank Kool-Aid when you were kids. But I don't know how that would fit in the discussion with, there's, but don't you look probabilities or even, Troy, you're into the volatility, which I am too, but you look at, okay, based on that 18 and 4, right, out of the last 22, 23 days, VIX is around that 16. To me, same with, would I buy a call in VIX or a call vertical in VIX 90 days out or something? Yeah, I think so. I mean, it seems reasonable, and it's a spec trade. You could lose it. I get it. But it's like, hey, if I'm going out through 90 and I'm encompassing October, which is the next big August earnings cycle, I think I'll have a shot there, right? I don't know if that has anything to do with it.
No, I think that's right, Dan. I mean, you look at it and you say market been up 20. I'm like a caveman. Like market up 20 days, bad market. Like, and the reality though is it's interesting. I heard this on CNBC yesterday, which they throw things out in such a funny way to me. But the idea was that this is the longest we've been above the 20-day SMA.
Oh, is that what they since when?
Since like 1997 or something.
Jeez.
And they said that every instance where we've been up this long over the 20-day SMA, 6 months later, we were like 5% higher. And so you hear that data set and you say, we're probably just going up more, right? We're probably just going to go up more. But here's the thing about sizing of a data set and like position sizing is to say both could be right. Like I take the side to say like, may VIX come to 30 again in the fall. And that's my read is probably it's going to be the fall, but we'll have some 30, 40 VIX in the fall is my guess. But that's just a guess. So what do you do with that? You size accordingly. But if you take the exact opposite road and you say, I think the market's going to be up 10% in 6 months, you still have to size accordingly.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you have no idea.
And they both can be right? We can go down, like you said, we can go down in the fall, right?
Right. Yeah.
And, because the declines don't last as long as and then go up, right? But the bottom line, even if we go up, you still have some, you're going to get some red candles, right? And
yes.
But
yes. No, listen, so the point of today is to say backtesting, understand what's happening in a backtest.
A thought.
Like when you have a trade, don't just be like big green numbers. I now Fed Reserve Chair. I now President. You say like, what is this test doing, and why is it doing it? Learn the trade log.
That's the key, I think.
Like dig into the trade log. Put some different metrics on there. Like look at when the VIX, opening and closing. Like all that stuff will help you understand market dynamics and why a certain trade can work. And it just increases your confidence. You'll get more confident because no one should be taking a trade like this and saying, and we wrote the tool. Like we see these tests all the time. We're sitting here saying there's reasons not to trust that test. There's very specific reasons not to test that test. Learn those reasons. What makes a test good and what makes
Troy,
a test bad.
I'll get that sometimes from people will say, Dan, I found a trade. You show me how it can lose. And it'll usually be like an in the money call credit spread, right? And in the money call
Yeah.
credit spread, they're
With
not
no
talking about
slippage.
commission. They're not talking about execution. They're saying, look, I'm getting it at $9
Yeah.
credit. I only got 10 cents of risk. And then they, and they want you to spend a half hour, they're like, prove to me that this won't be the big, I'm like, come on.
Yeah. The key to wealth is in 80
Yeah,
delta
right,
spreads.
right.
90 days out.
That's right. 90 days out. Right.
Like, good luck with the liquidity. Like, here's what to your point about the easiest
Yeah.
way to learn something.
Yeah.
Is so for example, on this 5-wide, you'll just open it in your broker and watch the mid range, because as Dan has taught us, there's no mid price. It's bouncing all over the place, and it'll hit above $5 on a 5-wide.
Yes.
But when you go to submit that order, are you ever going to get filled for more than $5 of credit on a 5-wide trade with no? No, you will never, ever, ever. It just won't let you do it. Some brokers will outright reject the order. So it's just silly stuff. Like, just look at it. Just use the preview screen to watch it for a while.
Slippage.
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying start with just sitting in your broker and watching it. Just watch it. Just stare at it for 5 minutes. And then that'll inform, to Matt's point, about slippage.
Yeah, and that's the thing I've seen a lot, like with some of like the credit, the butterfly credits for a credit, butterflies for a credit, is people haven't graphed it out, and they're like, it has a 99% win rate, and sometimes you can win a lot more. And you're like, look at the 1%. Yeah, like, it wins 99%. What does it do during the other 1%? That's a different way of looking at trading testing. But you say basically, someone says, hey, this has a 70% win rate. Okay, that's awesome. Who cares? What happens? What does it look like at the other 30%?
And what's the
That's
relationship?
everything.
And what's the potential? Like, we were having this discussion actually the other day about, like, it's all like low win rate. I don't want to say this is a blanket statement, but low win rate tests have been dismissed by a lot of people. But there are arguments, especially if you can find debit trades, that low win rate tests, they really have their pros, and that's such a broad
And
statement.
let's qualify low. We're not saying 5% of the time you win. But like 50, 60% of the time, would you take a trade that wins half the time, but the winners are twice the losers? I mean, that's if someone's like, let's play the coin flip game, but I'll give you double tails and you only lose 1x on the heads, you'd be an idiot not to take that bet.
Right.
I like win percentages like I like
Here we go.
my marriage. It was a high strikeout rate for a long time, and then not marriage. I've only had one marriage, but girlfriend. Shout out my wife.
My wife.
You ask a bunch of girls, they say no, but you only need one winner that is greater than the losers, and that's what my lovely wife is. This shout out, love you. This is you're the best.
Because she's watching. She's watching the show. Troy, she
doesn't watch the show.
Your idea of your wife watching the shows is delusional as that backtest we've been chopping up this whole time.
She sends the kids out to go kill the hogs, and she watches every day the Option Omega show. Now the weird thing is we don't have any hogs.
Yeah.
So
why
think about that. How does that?
Yeah,
this got pretty dark.
That's right. Anyway, yeah. Well, on that note, listen. Speaking of, so no show Thursday, Friday, but there might be a show. This is how it goes. Matt's traveling, and I'm going to be traveling as well. We're going to shout out Everglades. Never been to Everglades National Park. We're going to go see the Gator boys down there. We're going to try to take an airboat cruise.
If anybody in the OO community is a boat captain in the Everglades, let Troy know for sure. We may have one. We don't know.
Any Everglades boat captains would be great. Also, any yacht people that have a
You'd
yacht
entertain
in Key
them
West.
if they had a good yacht.
Yeah, if you own a laser tag arena,
reach out.
Yeah, equal laser tag. Yeah. Anyway, so guys, listen. Have a great rest of the week. Who knows what the rest of the week looks like? Maybe we'll be on. Maybe we won't be off. But it's the summer doldrums, so it's all everybody's traveling. So, but blessings to you guys. Good trading week, and we will be back next week looking at some things. One of the things, Dan, I don't know if you saw, they're thinking about removing pattern day trader.
I didn't see that.
Troy, we
Well,
can't
reducing it to
squeeze this in. We
2,000.
got to save
Reducing
this
it from 25,000
save
to
this for
2,000.
Monday.
Yeah. PDT
Wow.
report.
Yeah, big
That could-
change. That would be a large change. Liquidity could go
Through the roof.
whoop.
That would be wonderful. Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's basically saying to small traders, we're going to take the rails off for small traders.
Yes.
Let you come in.
Well,
It's good and bad.
it's
We'll talk Monday.
That's
something.
We'll talk Monday.
We'll talk.
Yeah.
We'll talk Monday. So, all right, guys, have a
See
good
you
rest.
guys.